Welcome to the Law of Attraction in Action. My name is Michelle Joy, and I am your host. And thank you so much for joining me on my Monday solo sessions, where I will be giving you teachings and inspiration and some action steps to take in the Law of Attraction so you can make it real in your life. For those of you who have never joined me on my sessions, I'm also on YouTube, so I'm recording this on YouTube and on the podcast so you can see me or you can listen to me or you can do both. And I will definitely put the link on this podcast so you can go to my YouTube channel. But I think sometimes it's nice for people to visualize the person speaking. So I'm happy to share with you either way on these Monday solo sessions. So thank you again for joining me. And I also, as usual, want to give everybody a big thank you for joining me and supporting this podcast. It's really taking off. I'm seeing the numbers rise like crazily, and I'm just so blessed by this because not only is it good for me, but it's good for the world because we can all see how amazing our lives can be. So I'm just here to inspire you and to help you see what is possible in your life when you start living through the law of attraction and becoming intentional in your life. So I'm just kudos to you for listening, and please share this with whoever, anybody you know who may be interested, or maybe people who know nothing about it. Those are kind of my favorite. I love to just plant those seeds. Whenever I meet people who don't know law of attraction and I tell them a little bit, immediately they go, oh yeah, I've totally been doing that. And so once I tell them what it is, they become more intentional, and it's really exciting. So there's no reason to keep this stuff from people. And that's why the movie The Secret was really popular, because it was the secret. Like, nobody's allowed this information. And truly, it is happening all the time. And so I love that I get to inspire and teach you all on how to live the law of attraction. So thank you. And if you also like this podcast, please share it, rate it, give me a review, and tell anybody and everybody. I love to get that support, and thank you so much. So today we're going to talk about how to be a money magnet. Now, I just did a meetup group. I teach locally in Portland, Oregon. So if you're in Portland, I do have my meetup group, and I'll talk about all that stuff at the end of this podcast. But what I taught this last week was on how to manifest money, and just these simple tools that are life-changing. And so I thought I'd share it with you guys so you can also use these tools in your life. And, I wish you could be in Portland local so we can meet each other, because I do a lot of exercises where we really feel the energy. But I'm going to share you some tips and tools on how to be a powerful money magnet, things that I've used, my clients have used, my meetup members have used, people that I know personally have used, and that have worked, like truly worked. Because I find when I look at my podcasts and which podcasts are listened to the most, the one on money is listened to the most. So I know people out there, we all want help in manifesting money, because it's a hard one, right? Sometimes you're like, okay, I'm going to just visualize and millions of dollars will be here. Well, it's not always that easy, right? So I'm not going to give you like these, magical things. Well, it is magical, but it's not like immediate, although sometimes it is. So let's just be open-minded here. And so I'm going to just share you 5 tools that you could use to start becoming more of a money magnet. And so just doing these 5 alone will help shift you and will help you start changing your energy around money, and will help attract it to you. Because remember, we're an attraction-based universe. And so what we think about, we bring about. So why not think positive thoughts around money, right? Yay! So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over those 5 steps and tell you examples, and hopefully you guys get a lot out of this. And again, if you do, please let me know by your reviews, or just even shoot me an email, and I'll give all that information at the end. So anyway, all right, let's go to the 5 steps. So the first step is to pay attention to how you're talking about money. This is a big one, because you can just tell in one day's time where you are with money and why you're manifesting it or not, based on your conversation. So I bet many of you, and I've been guilty of this, where I will say, yeah, I'm going to manifest all this money. And then I'm like, but where is it? Oh, money's not coming. Oh, I don't have any money. People are like, hey, Michelle, do you want to go out? I'm like, no, I don't really have the money. Or it's so amazing when you pay attention. you start to see, oh, am I in a poverty mindset or an abundance mindset? And most of us are in that poverty mindset. And don't be hard on yourself. Like, this is a whole nother subject. I'm not going to go into incredible detail over this poverty versus abundance mindset, because that'll be another course, because that's a lot right in itself. But just to be aware of what you're saying on a daily basis will give you a clue to where you're at vibrationally. And again, for people who are totally new to law of attraction, have not heard any of my podcasts, we are made of energy. And if you look at energy and how we vibrate, so wherever we are vibrating, if we're vibrating high and we've got this great energy, we're feeling good, we have really good beliefs around things, that what we are wanting will match up. So it is amazing. That's all you need to do is raise your vibration. So when we're talking negatively about money, we're attracting that negative vibration. So you say, oh, I don't have any money. And the universe goes, oh, okay, here's like your more bills, and your bank account's draining. It's just amazing to me how powerful that shift can be, though, when you start paying attention. So I'm not asking you to like fix it. I think the first step for anything and any growth that you're doing is to pay attention to what you are saying, thinking, doing, and that will give you a clue on where you're at vibrationally. So the best part about this is you can be aware and then you can change it. So then we're going to go on to change it. So step one is pay attention to what you're saying, what you're doing, what your relationship is with money. Step two is to act as if you are abundant. Now, this is the funnest part. I've done this with my sweetie, where we go to designer stores and we pretend that we can buy everything in the store, and we tend to put on British accents. I don't know why the British are all wealthy in our mind, I guess, but we put on these British accents and we say we can buy everything in the store, and we feel so good and we get excited. And it feels so fun. It's a fun activity to do with your partner, your friend, whoever, your sister, your mom, and just go to a store that's really nice and just pretend that you can buy everything there. And it feels so good. And I remember one time my sweetie and I did this, and we sat outside on their really nice lawn furniture. It's not even lawn furniture. I don't know the name, but it was really nice. We're sitting out and all of a sudden we started imagining what life is for us when we're abundant and wealthy. And it's really amazing how that shifts your vibration, and you start attracting more and more. And sure enough, my sweetie with his business especially, and I'm not sure if you've heard his podcast on how to manifest money. It's like, I think my second or third podcast, listened to at the very beginning. But he really shifted, we both did, on our abundance mindset just by acting as if. Acting as if can also be, how you dress, and just, feel the part of an abundance mindset or a wealthy person. Like, just go all out. I've actually had my sweetie and we went and looked at $1 million condo in Portland. Now I have to tell you, $1 million doesn't get you very far in the city anymore. But we went and looked at this apartment, and we're just, yes, of course we can afford this. We didn't tell the realtor anything. We're like, yes, we're in the market for $1 million condo. And sorry to all those realtors who probably like, you wasted their time. But it was a really good exercise on how to raise our vibration around money, because we felt that energy. So it's more than just a thinking. When you get out there and do it, you feel it more. And the more you get out there and pretend and act as if, the universe will shift. It truly, truly will shift. So that's step two. Step three is what you give, you shall receive. And this could not be more true. And this is what I love about law of attraction. Law of attraction is very in the mindset of what the better things you give, the better you get back. But I have to caution you, though, when you give to people, you never give with like, okay, if I give this, I'm going to get this much back, because that's not a selfless give. It has to be a selfless give. So let me give you an example. My sweetie, again, a year ago, I needed a new computer. But I was like, the computer I had was okay. And my sweetie was not bringing in the checks. Like, in his business, he has to wait to get paid sometimes. So the checks weren't coming in, and he was kind of in this place of the money wasn't here yet. So, but he wanted to buy me a computer anyway. And I was like, no, I don't need it. Let's just wait. He goes, no, I'm so excited, and it brings me so much joy to buy you this computer. Now, I'm talking about a lucky girl, right? But I was like, no, no, no. He goes, no. He like really looked me in the eye with like so much joy. He goes, Michelle, please let me buy you this computer. And it was a Mac. And I was like, well, this is really beautiful. You know, I was a PC person. Now I'll never go back because I'm on a Mac, right? Anybody who does Macs, I'm sure gets me. But so I finally relented because he was so happy. Like it brought him so much joy to buy me this computer. And so the best part about this, the very next day, he got like 3 huge checks in the mail, like overnight, right? And I've seen this over and over and over again for him. The more you give, the more you receive. I also heard a story about Rhonda Byrne. I'm not sure if any of you read The Power. I actually listen to Audible. I do Audibles a lot. And The Power is about how love is how we manifest. It's through love, through love, through love. But I love she gives an example where, and I don't know if I got the details right, so forgive me, but she was talking about when she was making the movie The Secret, she was really struggling with money at that point. Like they hadn't finished the movie, they were massively in debt. She wasn't even sure how they're going to be able to finish this movie because they had no budget. I mean, it was just like this crazy crossroads, right? She was like broke and in debt. And so she decided, you know, she better practice what she preaches. If she's teaching this stuff, she better do it. So she took her credit card, went to the bank and withdrew like, I don't know how much money. This is the details I don't know, but let's say, you know, $10,000, maybe $5,000, but she withdrew a lot of money when she didn't have any money. And that day she went around with so much love and joy and went and gave that money away. She just gave it away. And she loved the feeling it gave her to give it away. Well, a couple of days later, she gets a message or an email from somebody saying they had a stock of hers that she didn't even know about, and it was worth like $20,000 that was due to her. And so, I mean, there's only like 2 stories, but there's so many stories. What you give, you shall receive. So if you want to become a money magnet, you give. You give from your heart. You give without any thought in the world. You know, I think about with my sweetie and I, when he was struggling with his business, I helped him out. You know, I was working as a nurse at the time, and I had some money saved, and I just helped him out because I believed in him. And it was never a matter of, you know, what's he going to do for me later on? It was just, I believe in him, and I was unattached to even how that money was coming back to me. Like I literally was like, I want him to have this because I want his business to go because he's doing so much amazing work. I just believe in him. And so what happened is he started thriving, and then I was able to quit my job and do this full time with his support. So, but it's not like I asked for this. It's not like if I'm giving you this money, you're going to give it back. And we were just talking about this today, how beautiful the universe works and how literally I gave because I believed in him and I wanted him to succeed. And now he's doing the same for me. So what you give, you shall receive. Just always keep that up. And it feels so good. Isn't that why we're here on this planet, is to do nice things and be of service? So, and if you do it, and also set your intentions, which we're going to get to next. But we're going to, but really the giving, and it will return to you. So third, I already went over third. So we're on pay attention. Sorry, I'm losing track. So pay attention what you're talking about with money is number 1. Number 2 is act as if. 3 is what you give, you shall receive. And then 4 is get specific about what you want. And I think a lot of people don't spend the time to do this. And I can be guilty of this too. I'm like, okay, you know, I want to manifest a lot of money. I want to have an abundance life. I want to prove to the world that it's possible through law of attraction, but I haven't written down any specifics. And so, and this was a while ago, and I started getting more specific, and actually my sweetie did too. And so these are my examples because he's done so well. But I wrote him a check for $400,000. I know I brought this up in other podcasts, but I wrote him a check for $400,000 dated the next year. And he put it in his wallet and he carried it around and just kind of forgot about it. Well, by that time came around next year. And also, just, you know, when you write that number of the check, do plus, you know, and then some. Don't ever limit yourself. Like, I just want 10,000. No, you put 10,000 plus, right? Always put that plus in. But we did that on the check. And so he doubled, almost, well, not quite tripled, but this year he will blow all that out of the water. So we actually wrote a check for $4 million for this year. So the point is, get specific on and put a date. And I don't know if any of you heard the story about Jim Carrey. This is one of my favorite stories. And actually, Oprah interviewed Jim Carrey about this because it was amazing. But he wrote himself a check for, I think, $10 million. And he wrote it 3 years ahead of time. So he put the date. And he just acted as if he went to Mulholland Drive and, pretended to, like, I live there. This is my life. And, he wasn't there at all, but he just started to believe it. And sure enough, 3 years later, on that date that he wrote on his check, he got $10 million for Dumb and Dumber. So this is one of the most famous stories, but there's so many. Like, this stuff really, really works. So get intentional about what you want to manifest. Write it down. And so at my meetup, I had everybody write down something specific for the next month. So what we wrote down for me is I will receive 7 checks within the next month. With the next 30 days, not month, 30 days specified. And of course I got 1 check that night. I was super excited. And that was just the other day. So I'll let you know how that goes. But I know lots of people. I've had people interviewed on this podcast and another woman I'm going to hopefully have interviewed because I heard her money mindset and what she's manifested. It's amazing. Like, this woman's amazing what she's manifested, but without even knowing it. But she had examples where she said, okay, I'm going to manifest these many checks. And sure enough, she got that many checks. So try it. So if you're at home, you're listening to this, why not? Right? Like, just see what happens. I always feel like, and I do this too, I'll have all these law of attraction ideas and then I don't do it. But what is the harm in doing it? It just takes a minute to write down your intention and then you let it go. You don't have to do any other work. Well, you have to follow your joy. That's the only thing. But you really just getting clear about it helps the universe know what to give you. And time again, people tell me they'll write down intentions, but they aren't clear enough. And then they get something, but it's not what they thought and may not be as good. So it's just get clear on the positive of what you want. And so part of the way of asking for setting intentions is to be in the present and be positive. So I have manifested, like, it's done. And it feels good because you're like, oh, wow, I manifested 10,000 this month. Awesome. So I manifested 7 checks and, I know it'll happen by that date. So anyway, try it out. I'm curious to see how it goes. So if it happens to you, send me an email. I want to hear these stories for sure. Okay. So that's number 4. And then number 5, which is very, very important, is feed your mind every day. Feed it positive affirmations, positive mindset, positive money mindset, especially if we're talking about money here, focus on that. And so I started doing that, I don't know, mid-January. So we're at mid-February now, so a month ago. And I started listening to these positive money affirmations. Like, I have a guided meditation. Actually, I just made a guided meditation for y'all. So if you want, I will give the information at the end of this podcast or in the details about this podcast. But I have a free guided meditation on manifesting money, and it's something I'm listening to every day. I listen to another one. I'm like, I'm just going to do my own, because for one, it's really powerful to hear it in your own voice. But if you don't want to record your own guided meditation, feel free to use mine. so you don't have to go through that work. But I started listening to this guided meditation every day, and I literally was religious. Like, every day I listened to it. And I also have another, just go to YouTube and there's tons of things on money affirmations. And so I started just listening to that in my car, or at the gym, or, if I was, getting ready in the morning. It's just like affirmation. I'm feeding my mind. And sure enough, like, I just did my taxes and I'm getting more back than I did last year, and I didn't even work as much, right? So it's amazing what the universe is providing. It's always providing. But when you shift your mind, because remember, whatever you put into your mind, you have control over. But whatever your subconscious feeds, whatever your subconscious takes in is from those thoughts. So whatever thought goes in, your subconscious will believe it, because it doesn't know what's right or wrong. It just says, well, whatever you tell me, got it. And you just feed it. So if you just feed yourself every day for 30 days, or even Louise Hay says 21 days. It doesn't have to be 30, but I like to do 30 because I really like to get it almost a habitual thing, where it's a habit, where I really notice that, oh, I am a money magnet. Well, yeah, like, of course. So it becomes almost a belief because I keep hearing it over and over and over again. And guys, once you do this, it will have so many so many shifts, not even just with money. Like this is all about positivity, right? How can you bring abundance into your life? And that looks more than just manifesting money. This is manifesting an abundance lifestyle where you have lots of love in your life. You have lots of experiences in your life that make you feel abundant. There's abundancy is not just money. Money is energy like everything else, but we put a lot of energy into that. And so that's why we talk a lot about money. But I really believe that when we do these steps, especially the last one where we feed our mind, feed our mind, feed our mind, after a while, you are going to see shifts. So anyway, so those are the 5 steps. To reiterate again, pay attention to what you talk about money. Act as if, just go out and play and just really, you are that abundant, awesome, wealthy person. The 3 is what you give, you shall receive, but make sure you give through love. 4 is get specific, like you can write yourself a check or write, intentions on what you want, but be specific. And again, if you do something and it turns out, please email me. I would love to hear about it. And then 5 is feed your mind. Feed it with affirmations, whether it's guided affirmations or it's just your own affirmations. If you are listening to positive people who've manifested things, listen to this podcast, right? Where people are manifesting amazing things. Just keep listening, keep feeding your mind, and you will see some amazing shifts. So that's it. 5 easy things. You will see massive shifts in your life. I really, really believe in this so much. And I think so many people, I think you could do it. I think 30 days, what's 21 days to just focus on this? I challenge you to do it. I know you can do it. But I also know there's times you get lazy, and that's okay. So one last thing I want to say, which I feel like this is going to be a whole nother podcast on one of my solo sessions, but I'm going to talk briefly, is that you don't have to be perfect. You really don't. In fact, the other day, my sweetie and I were talking about how he has manifested such amazing wealth in his business. And truly, he was not perfect. Like he said, probably 51% of them believed that he was worthy of this. And there's this positive money mindset, but there's still that 49% that were like naysaying it, like within his own head. But he tipped over that 51%, and he was still able to manifest. So just remember that you don't have to be perfect in all this. But if you do more than like focusing more on what you want versus what you don't want, things will turn and things will shift. So anyway, I hope this helps. I love teaching these. Obviously, I love teaching these so much. This is why I do it. But I hope this helps you and you receive it and you practice it. And if anything, you plant a seed. But if you start today, you'll start seeing shifts like within a month. Like, wouldn't that be great? Maybe years you've been struggling with money. But you can say, okay, today's my day. Today is my day. I'm going to do it. So anyway, I hope that helps. Again, thank you for listening to these solo sessions. I do have a big favor to ask you all. I have a link to a survey that I'm putting on this podcast because I want to hear from you. I want to see how I can help you more. I want to answer questions. I'm going to be doing these solo sessions every week. Like, that's a lot. Now, I've been teaching Law of Attraction for 7 years. I've taught every other week. So I do have a lot of information in my brain, but I want to see how best to serve you. So I want to hear from you. So it's just a really brief survey. And honestly, guys, I usually hate surveys. So I feel like it's kind of a big ask. That's my own karma. But I really, really believe that when you just click on it, it's super easy. And, I'm just basically asking how could I help you? How can I help you? What questions can I answer for you? And my hope is to get some really good questions that I can place on here and answer them through my Monday session. So that is what my intention is and why I'm doing the survey. So if you don't mind just going to the bottom of this podcast, there's going to be information on how to connect with that survey and just fill it out for me. It'll take no more than 2 minutes. I mean, truly. And I would love the feedback. So, and also if you are interested in being on the show and have an amazing story, or just share how Law of Attraction has changed your world or rocked your world like it has most of us, all of us, just go to my website at michelle-joy.com. That's MICHELE-JOY.com. And on that, on my webpage, I have everything that I do. I I also have a book. I have Thrive and Shine, How to Find Happiness When Life Falls Apart. So it's there to help you on your journey if you're going through something traumatic and you want to find happiness again. That's what I did. And that's how I ended up here, is through all that. So I wrote a book to help you on that process. So it's a self-help and it's got lots of exercises. The link to that is on my website. And there's also a 365 Days of Joy video that I'm doing on, it's on Facebook and YouTube. Most people watch me on Facebook, but I would love for you to watch that, because every day I'm sharing my journey, because following your joy is how the great stuff comes to us. And I'm proving to the world that that's all you need to do. Or not all, that's the most important thing to do though, is follow your joy. So I'm doing that every day for a year. I think today I'm on 269, I think, which is crazy. So I'm almost done. But anyway, I just have all those resources for you. I also have free guided meditations on my website. And lastly, if there's also a freebie on there on 5 steps to raise your vibration fast. If you sign up for my email list, you will get that, as well as some good extra bonuses on inspiring videos, including the video where I was on the hot seat with Abraham. That's on there too. So just go to my website, michelle-joy.com. And I think that is everything. Thank you again for listening. Thank you for watching me if you're seeing me on YouTube. And all those links will be here. And I wish you all a wonderful, abundance, magnificent, miracle life. And I love you all so much. And happy manifesting.